Just hours before the clock struck midnight to usher in the year 2026 and do away with 2025, while families were gathering their Bibles and putting on their white clothes for crossover service, a community in Ondo State was thrown into absolute chaos. We often say that the end of the year is a time for gratitude and celebration, but for the people of Ipele, Owo, in Owo local government area, the last few hours of 2025 were a living nightmare. The headline you saw is the heartbreaking reality of what happened on New Year's Eve. A police station, the very symbol of safety and law and order, was not just attacked, it was completely burned to the ground. And the most terrifying part? The officers who are paid to protect the citizens were forced to run for their lives alongside the civilians. We are going to take you directly to the scene of this brazen attack in the Ipele community. We will break down exactly how these gunmen, numbering about 20, stormed the town in what eyewitnesses are calling a commando-style raid. We will discuss the sheer panic that gripped the town as people fled into the dark bushes instead of sitting in church pews, and what the police authorities have said about this embarrassing and dangerous breach of security. This is not just a story about a building burning. It is a story about the fragility of our safety in the Southwest. If you want to stay updated on the security situation as we enter this new year, please do me a massive favor and smash that like button right now. It helps us break the algorithm so more Nigerians can see what is really happening in our communities. And if you are not yet a subscriber, click that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. You need to be aware of the security alerts in your area. Let's paint the picture of what happened on that fateful Wednesday night. The date was December 31st, 2025. It was around 10 p.m. In every church across Nigeria, microphones were being tested and pastors were preparing their sermons for the crossover service. But in Ipele Owo, the sound of worship was replaced by the deafening sound of sporadic gunfire. According to credible reports and eyewitness accounts, a group of about 20 heavily armed bandits invaded the quiet community. They didn't sneak in, they announced their presence with violence. They rode in aggressively, shooting in the air and at buildings, creating instant pandemonium. The target was the police divisional station in Ipele. Usually, when there is trouble, people run to the police station. But on this night, the police station was the center of the trouble. The bandits laid siege to the facility. The firepower was so intense that the officers on duty, realizing they were outgunned and outnumbered, had to scamper for safety. Imagine the psychological blow to a community when they see their defenders running away. Once the officers had fled, the criminals proceeded to set the station ablaze. The building, files, and equipment were consumed by flames, leaving nothing but a charred skeleton of what used to be a security post. An eyewitness who spoke to reporters under anonymity described the scene as a terrorist attack. He said, "The attackers, numbering about 20, came into the Ipele community in a commando style and began to shoot sporadically before attacking the police divisional station in Ipele." He went on to describe the fear that gripped the residents. It was a serious incident because many of us had to flee into the bush. The sounds from the attack were terrifying and none of us could withstand it. Just imagine that for a second. Instead of shouting Happy New Year with their families, mothers were grabbing their children and running into the dangerous forest in the middle of the night, praying that the snakes in the bush would be kinder to them than the bandits in the town. This attack raises so many questions about the security architecture of Ondo State. Remember, Owo is a very strategic and sensitive location. It has been hit before and the scars are still fresh. For bandits to have the audacity to attack a police station in Owo on a night when security is supposed to be on high alert for the holidays is deeply worrying. It suggests that these criminals have no fear of the state apparatus. They knew people would be distracted by the festivities and they capitalized on it. I also want to touch on the irony of the situation. While the Amotekun Corps has been making headlines for arresting bandits in the forests, like the 39 suspects we discussed recently, it seems they are still dangerous cells operating with impunity. The fact that 20 armed men could move in a convoy, attack a station, burn it down, and leave without being apprehended on the spot is a major intelligence failure. It asks the question, where were the reinforcements? Why was the response time so slow that the station could be reduced to ashes? The Ondo State Police Command has confirmed the incident. The public relations officer, Jimo Abayomi, was contacted shortly after the attack. He admitted, yes, it happened, but we will get the details out tomorrow. He described the details as still being sketchy at the time, which is understandable given the chaos. But he assured the public that state security operatives have now been deployed to the community to calm the situation. But for the residents of Ipele, the calm has come a little too late. The trauma of starting the new year in the bush is something that will not go away easily. We have to talk about the police factor here. When a police station is burned, it is a direct challenge to the sovereignty of the state. It sends a signal to the locals that you are on your own. If the police cannot protect their own office, how can they protect your shop or your home? This is why we constantly talk about the need for better equipment and better manpower for our security agencies. You cannot expect an officer with an old rifle to stand and fight against 20 bandits with military-grade weapons. It's a suicide mission, and until we fix this imbalance, we will continue to see these humiliating retreats. I want to ask you, the viewer, how does this make you feel about the security in the Southwest? Do you think the burning of police stations is a sign that the bandits are getting stronger, or is it a sign that our security strategy is failing? And if you lived in Ipele, would you ever feel safe going to that police station again? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I really want to hear your perspective on this. As the sun rises on the first day of 2026, the people of Ipele are returning from the bushes to see the ruins of their police station. The smoke is still rising. The crossover service they missed is gone. The new year has begun on a note of sorrow and fear rather than hope. We will be tracking the police investigation closely. We want to know who these 20 men are. We want to know where they came from. And we want to know if the police will be able to rebuild not just the station, but the trust of the community. If you found this update informative, please smash that like button. It supports the channel and helps us keep you informed about the real state of the nation. And if you are not yet a subscriber, click that subscribe button now. We are here to bring you the news that matters without fear or favor. Stay safe, stay vigilant, and let us pray for peace in Owo this year.
It is a heartbreaking start to the year 2026. And while the rest of the world is popping champagne and celebrating the arrival of a new calendar year, the people of Ondo State are waking up to smoke, fire, and the terrifying sound of gunfire. We are barely 24 hours into the new year, and already we have a tragedy on our hands that is sending shockwaves not just through the Southwest, but across the entire Nigerian Federation. Reports reaching our news desk this morning indicates that a police station in Ondo State has been razed to the ground, set ablaze by heavily armed men, and the most alarming part of this story is the name currently on everyone's lips, Bello Toji. The headline you are seeing everywhere, New Year Tragedy, Bello Toji Bandits Burn Police Station, is not just a collection of scary words, it is a signal of a terrifying shift in our national security crisis if proven true. According to eyewitness accounts and breaking reports coming out of Ondo, officers of the Nigeria Police Force, the very people trained and equipped to protect you and me, were seen running for their lives. Let that sink in for a moment. Men in uniform, armed with service rifles, were forced to flee into the bushes to escape the superior firepower of these attackers. When the protectors become the hunted, you know the society is dancing on the edge of a precipice. The attack occurred in the early hours of the morning, just as families were likely concluding their New Year vigil services or preparing for the first breakfast of the year. Instead of greetings of Happy New Year, the community was greeted by the crackle of burning infrastructure. The police station, a symbol of law and order in the community, was targeted specifically to send a message that the government's authority does not exist here. But the real story, the gist that has everyone shaking in their boots, is the alleged involvement of the notorious bandit kingpin Bello Toji. For years, we have analyzed the security situation in Nigeria. We know the players, we know the geography. Bello Toji has been the warlord of the Northwest, operating primarily out of the forests in Zamfara and Sokoto. We have covered his atrocities, his letters to the government, and the military raids on his camps throughout 2024 and 2025. So the question we must ask ourselves this morning, and the question that security experts are scrambling to answer, is this: what are Bello Toji's boys doing in Ondo State? If this is indeed his handiwork, it means the banditry we thought was contained in the north has successfully crossed the River Niger and set up shop in the southwest. This is no longer just a northern issue, it is a national emergency. We have seen rumors and unverified reports in the past about bandits migrating south, hiding in the forests that link the disparate parts of our country. But an attack of this magnitude, targeting a police station in Ondo, suggests a level of confidence and logistical capability that we have not seen before in this region. It suggests they have established a foothold. The gunmen reportedly arrived in large numbers, riding on motorcycles, a signature move of Toji's gang, and opened fire indiscriminately before touching the building. The image of police officers running for their lives is not one that will leave the minds of the residents anytime soon. It destroys public confidence. If a policeman cannot save himself, who will save the market woman? Who will save the student? I want to pause here for a second because this is the kind of story that changes how we live our lives. We are dedicated to bringing you the truth about these security shifts every single day. If you want to stay ahead of the news and understand the dangers lurking in our society, you need to be part of this community. Please take a moment right now to like this video and check if you are subscribed to the channel. Hitting that subscribe button is the best way to support independent journalism that refuses to be silenced. We need to grow this platform so we can keep asking the hard questions that the authorities might want to ignore. So please subscribe now and let's continue with this developing story. The timing of this attack is also deeply ironic and painful. Just hours ago, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu delivered his New Year message to Nigerians. In that speech, he pledged to consolidate the gains of 2025. He spoke about economic reforms and, crucially, about security. He assured the nation that the armed forces are winning the war against terror. Yet, while those words were still echoing in our living rooms, a police station was burning in Ondo. It highlights the massive disconnect between the speeches read in Aso Rock and the reality faced by Nigerians on the streets. Consolidating gains cannot mean officers running into the bush while criminals burn down government property. We must also look at the possibility of what this Bello Toji label really means. Is it physically Toji? It is possible, but it is also possible that Bello Toji has become a franchise name, a brand used by various criminal elements to instill maximum fear. In the criminal underworld, using a feared name gives you instant credibility. However, whether it is Toji himself or his lieutenants or copycat criminals, the result is the same. The Southwest is under siege. We recall that late in 2025, the military claims to have killed Toji's second-in-command and flushed him out of his hideouts. Did they flush him out of Zamfara to relocate to the forests of Ondo? If so, that is not a victory, that is a displacement of terror. The reaction from the Ondo State government and the Inspector General of Police will be critical in the coming hours. We expect to hear the usual statements. We are on top of the situation. Manhunt launched. Perpetrators will be brought to book. But Nigerians are tired of these phrases. We heard them in 2024. We heard them in 2025. Now it's 2026 and the script hasn't changed. The officers who ran for their lives are human beings with families. They likely lack the ammunition, the protective gear, and the numbers to face a horde of bandits armed with military-grade weapons. This tragedy exposes the soft underbelly of our policing system. You cannot fight an RPG with a pistol. You cannot fight a coordinated militia with a demoralized police force. This incident also raises questions about the Amotekun Corps. The Southwest Security Network was established precisely to prevent this kind of incursion. If bandits can burn down a police station, it challenges the effectiveness of the entire security architecture in the region. Residents of Ondo are reportedly packing their bags, fearing that this is just the opening salvo. When bandits burn a police station, they often return to kidnap the civilians now that the protectors are gone. It's a terrifying pattern we've watched play out in Kaduna, in Niger, and in Katsina. Now it's happening in Ondo. As we move through the first day of 2026, the mood is somber, the celebration is muted. We are watching a potential escalation that could define the security challenges of this year. We will be monitoring this situation hour by hour. We are waiting for an official casualty count. Though we pray no lives were lost, the ferocity of the fire and the shooting suggests we should brace for bad news. This is a developing story, and the implications for Nigeria's unity and safety are massive. If the Southwest falls into the same cycle of banditry as the Northwest, we are looking at a nationwide crisis of unprecedented proportions.